Tadparam paryaya vidmahe jnanalingeshwaraya dhimahi tanno guruh prachodayate. Om Yoga Maharishi Dr. Swami Geetananda Giri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Namaste, Vanakkam, Swagatam, Bonjour, Salamat Pagi, Boreidha, Huyamore, Ayubovan, all our greetings. Shubdinam, Suprapad. Today we are going to be looking at the highest attitude, that of gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude that's the highest on the scale in my opinion, because it is an attitude that has to be cultivated. Gratitude is an attitude that needs to be cultivated, and it needs to be cultivated with consciousness, with mindfulness, with awareness. So it is very difficult to feel gratitude unless we already have a certain level of consciousness. And this is why expecting gratitude from everyone and everything is, I think, downright stupid, because people are just not capable of it, and we need to be understanding in that. I've always talked about gratitude. I've always kept it as one of those beacon lights in my life. Right from my childhood, it has been a very important part of my attitude towards everyone who comes into my life. Being grateful to everyone who comes into your life, being grateful to everyone who doesn't come into your life, for the lessons they teach you or the lessons they don't teach you. As our beloved Ammaji would say, a good teacher teaches you what to be, a bad teacher teaches you what not to be. And still, both have taught you something, so be grateful for the lesson. When we start to change our attitude from one of misery-based, negative-based, deficiency-based, oh, I don't have this, oh, I didn't get that, he didn't give that to me, Dr. Ananda did not give me enough time, Dr. Ananda doesn't like me because he never responds to my messages. All this, we are focusing always on the lack. And the focus on the lack creates a lackadaisical attitude. Lackadaisical attitude. What happens is we often focus on what is not there. What we perceive has not been given to us. I am me and I was not given it. The modern privileged attitude where I am me, so give me everything. Huh? Oh my God, what a world. I am me, so give me everything. I showed up, so teach me everything. Well, the question is, are you worthy of the teachings? Yogyata? No, that doesn't matter. I am me. People I remember used to meet Swamiji and Ammaji, and I very clearly remember a talk Amma gave at one of the big colleges, and after the talk, we were getting ready to leave, and someone came up to her and said, Mataji, I really loved your talk. You have such vast spiritual experience. Can you give me the gist of it in about 5 minutes? Because, I don't have much time and I'm very busy, you see. And here, somebody wants someone who's put in 5 decades of sadhana to give the gist of the 5 decades of sadhana in 5 minutes because he is so goddamn busy. What an attitude of privilege. I am me, so you owe it to me. You owe it to me is the attitude which is so prevalent. My father used to remind us, he says, life owes you nothing. You owe life everything. You have been given life. You have been given life. And what greater gift you can be given by the universe than an opportunity to be a living, throbbing, thinking, feeling, seeking human being? What a gift we have been given. The Tamil Moodati Avvai, what a great mind she was. She says, Aridu aridu manidarai pirattal, aridu aridu manidarai pirattal. To be born human being, to have a human birth, is the rarest of the rare. Aridu aridu manidarai pirattal. And then she goes on to say, to be born without any defects, to, have all these things. And the final capability, she says, what is the rarest of the rare? Adaninum miga aridu dhanamum tavam seidal. The human being capable of dhanam, dhan, and tapas. So to be born human is the rarest of the rare. It is even more rare to be born without defects and have blah, 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 blah. And the final, the rarest of the rare human being is one who is capable of giving. Dhanam is to give. And tavam is to be disciplined. To discipline your body, mind, emotions, and spirit in the focus of purification is what tapasya is all about. This is why I like the word discipline for tapasya. People use the word austerity and penance. I like the word discipline. And to give, to be a giver and to be disciplined. That is the greatest of human beings. We have been given a gift because this human incarnation on this planet is the biggest opportunity to work out our karma. Karma shaya. The karma bandha that has brought us here, the baggage of karma that has landed us here, we now have an opportunity to mindfully, consciously work out our karma by living our dharma. What an opportunity. And once you are born, you go through the Chaturvida Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Fulfilling yourself by fulfilling your responsibility, Dharma. Automatically, you fulfill yourself materially, Artha. You fulfill yourself through emotional fulfillment. The fulfillment of emotionality, Kama. And finally, when you have gone through Dharma, Artha, Kama, automatically moksha will happen on its own, the fulfillment spiritually. Fulfilling your responsibility as a human being, Manushya Dharma, so that the Artha, Kama and Moksha will come on their own. The great Tamil poet, saint, Thiruvalluvar, in his Thirukural, he divides it into three components, 1330 verses, 133 chapters with 10 verses each. And he talks about Aram, Purul, Inbam. Aram is basically Dharma, Purul is Artha, Inbam is Kama. He doesn't even talk about moksha, because if these three you work on, moksha will happen on its own. So being born human being, to be given life is the greatest gift. And shouldn't we feel grateful to life for it? Shouldn't we feel that I have been given this opportunity to be born human, let me live as a human being and fulfill my dharma, my responsibility, Manushya Dharma, Manava Dharma, as a human being. That is the fulfillment. This is why life owes us nothing. People are running around, life owes me, life did this, life did that. No. You owe life everything for the opportunity to live, to have that prana shakti percolate through each and every one of your trillions of cells. It is a God-given, divine, universal opportunity. When we start to realize what we have been given, that requires cultivated consciousness. That requires a big picture. You have to be able to go out and have the panoramic view to realize what you have been given. Most people have no idea the gifts they have been given. And so they are always complaining. The deficient mindset that focuses on what you have not been given rather than on what you have been given. Abundance is what we have. We have been given abundance by the universe. When you realize it, when you expand your consciousness, when you are stuck down in your Muladhara chakra with only the smell sense, and you are stuck down in the mud, your nose in the mud, Muladhara, nose in the mud, and like the creepy crawly creatures, you are never going to understand anything else about this consciousness. You will never know the universe. That's why you have to ascend the elevator of consciousness. Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddha, Ajna, and come up to Sahasrara. As you come up that elevator of consciousness, suddenly you say, oh my God, I have been given so much. And the moment you realize what you have been given, gratitude will spring in your heart automatically. Because gratitude comes out of a sense of understanding the gifts you have been given. When you realize the abundance you have been given, gratitude is a natural attitude. But I always say gratitude is an attitude of choice. Because you have to choose to feel gratitude. Most people are scared of gratitude because they want to be self-made. Swayambhu. People want to be Swayambhu, self-made. Whenever I meet these people or hear about them, I'm like, it's the biggest joke on humanity, okay? I am self-made. Nobody contributed to my success. I have come up by myself. For God's sake, somebody came together, your father and mother came together, so you got a life. Be grateful that they came together, otherwise you wouldn't be here. The second thing, you were born. Did you know how to walk? Did you know how to talk? Did you know how to take care of your own toilet or your own food or your own needs? No. You were just lying there going, hey, all the time. Someone had to take care of you, feed you, clean you, bathe you, clothe you, shelter you, protect you. And then the first 5 years of life? The first 5 years of life, I am convinced every child has a death wish. The first 5 years of life, especially once they start moving, you think when they are born, you say, just when they start moving, all will be fine. Then they start moving and you're like, oh my God, it was better when they were lying in one place. Then you say, when they grow up, they'll be better. Then they come into the teens. It's a never-ending process. It keeps on happening. For the first 5 years of life, every kid has a death wish. They will go to the most dangerous place and want to jump off the cliff. They will want to jump off the balcony. They will want to put their fingers and experiment with electricity. I don't believe electricity exists, so I'm going to put my finger in the plug. They will determine where you have the hot water tub and want to jump into it before you can see them. They will find the deepest point of the swimming pool and want to walk because they believe they can walk across water. They believe they are the second Christ coming or whatever, nth Christ coming, that they want to walk across the water. See, for God's sake, if you have crossed the age of 5, somebody has invested a lot of time, energy, money, love to even just keep you alive. Somebody starts to teach you how to read and write. Otherwise, you will not be able to be the self-made genius. Someone taught you how to read and write, okay? Have some gratitude. Have some gratitude to all these people who have contributed to your life, directly and indirectly. You got a free delivery in the government hospital. Have gratitude. The government has such a possibility that you can be born without having to pay money like North America, where they will charge you for everything and put it on insurance. Be grateful for everything you have. Abundance mentality rather than this deficiency mentality. And the moment you start to have this abundance mentality, you realize all the gifts you have been given, and suddenly gratitude will spring automatically. You choose to adopt the attitude of gratitude. This is why the Samskrita word is KRITAJNATA. KRITAJNA, and I have added a ta to it, KRITAJNATA. Because jnata, the ta is when you are in that state, like yogya, yogyata, we did last week. Similarly, here what you have is KRITAJNATA. Krita means to do. It is the action. Krita, karita, anumodita, as Patanjali tells us in the Yoga Sutra. Krita is to do. So it is something that has to be done. It has to be an action. Nya is consciousness. So it is an active consciousness, mindfulness, awareness, where you start to realize the gifts you have been given, the abundance that exists in your life, and you start to develop as an attitude of choice, gratitude. This is why gratitude, if you ask me, at which level of the chakras does gratitude really come in? I think it is at the Ajna. Because if you look at the lower 5 chakras, they are all bound in the sensory involvement. Whether you are smelling, hearing, seeing, touching, tasting, communicating, it's all bound in the spinal level. But at the Ajna, suddenly you develop a new perspective. The energy flow of the lower 5 centers is different than the energy flow in the Ajna. So there's this big jump between your throat and your forehead. This is where that leap of consciousness occurs. This is the leap. I also talk of another leap of consciousness from the back of the brain to the front of the brain. The back of the brain, which is your reptilian complex, to the human complex, which is the front of the brain. So the back of the brain has no gratitude. Front of the brain is where gratitude occurs. Up to here, there is no gratitude. It is here that you realize, I have been given something. And you see the bigger picture. You have come up to the 6th floor in the elevator of consciousness. And suddenly you see, oh my God, all of these people have contributed to who I am today. All of this is behind the scene for me to be on the stage and perform and get all the applause. A performer on stage getting the applause, behind them has such an amazing support system. An Olympic gold medalist is acclaimed. What is the support system that lies behind them? This is where gratitude comes in, because you realize the support system that enables you to be who you are. KRITAJNATA. Now, when you have gratitude, what are you to do? Oh, I have gratitude. I have gratitude. For God's sake, do something about it. The gratitude that is not followed by an expression of the gratitude. Felt gratitude without expression is a bounced check, a dishonored check, not valid. Feeling gratitude is the first stage. The second stage is expressing the gratitude. It's like an apology. An apology is not just saying sorry. The first part is sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. What can I do to set things right? That is the complete apology. Just saying sorry is not an apology. Similarly, I am grateful. That is the first part. I understand I have been given something by some people, some persons, a society, the universe, whatever it may be. How can I express my gratitude and attempt to repay the debt I owe? This is the expression of gratitude. So feeling gratitude is the first part. Now there are people who don't even feel gratitude. So second part doesn't come into the equation at all. But once you feel gratitude, once you have understood that you have been given something, once you start to develop that sense of you feeling it, now you want to put it into action. How do you express gratitude? Thought, word, deed. The thought of gratitude. So when you have gratitude, you start to say, I feel grateful to so and so. And because of that, I start to wish them well. I start to pray for them. I start to keep them in my prayers. I start to send out healing thoughts to them, loving thoughts to them, thoughts of abundance for them. This is the manasika level of expressing KRITAJNATA. Manasika KRITAJNATA is you start to contemplate the person with love, gratitude, and you start to send their way healing thoughts, abundant thoughts, loving thoughts. You start to do all of that. And I got a few drops of rain from the tree when I said that. I got blessed. A few drops of rain is always a blessing. We had a lot of rain last night. So I was like, do I sit out here or not? Because it's quite drenched. So the tree has some water, that's my props. And so when the wind moves, it comes down. The universe is blessing. It says, Ananda, thank you for putting this out. for expressing it. Remember, gratitude, unexpressed gratitude is a bounced check. So you start to have this manasika, mindful expression of gratitude, where you start to send thoughts of healing to other fellow human beings, to organizations, to institutions, to countries, to the world, to God. The second is you start to express it verbally. You start to talk about the person. You start to phone them up and say, I am here for you. Thank you for being part of my life. I appreciate it so much and I would like to support you. Is there anything I can do? You know, this is your expression through word. Vachika. So manasika, kritajna. Here now vachika kritajna, you are expressing it through the word. And then you come and put it into action, where it becomes kayika, through the body. Manasika, vachika and kaya. Manas, vachas and kaya. So the thought, word and deed, you start to come and do something for the person. This is where the concept of seva, serving others, comes into being. Because seva will only occur when gratitude is there. Gratitude is the seed that manifests through the tree of service, seva. You realize that you have been given something and you want to give something back in thought, word and action. And you start to serve others. This was the basis on which the Guru Shishya Parampara, the Shishya, the student, served the Guru out of gratitude, an expression of that kritajna. But these modern yoga scholars who have the head on the wrong way, they start to say, oh, the Gurus were in this, power structure where the student was an unpaid laborer. I've heard these type of words. The Gurus were abusing the student by making them work for no money. I'm like, seriously, this idea, I'm going to go to countries and give them religion, I'm going to give them civilization, I'm going to give them culture. Now they want to give us also our history. We will tell you what your history is. Patanjali was only about 5-6 CE. I'm like, we are not interested in your history, please. We have had enough of your religion, enough of your culture, enough of your civilization, all that plastic nonsense that has polluted this planet. Please let us alone. We from inside will look at our own history. We are capable enough. Thank you so much. Please get out. The modern scholars who create this totally distorted narrative of the Guru Shishya Parampara, not realizing that the Shishya was serving the Guru as a manifest expression of the gratitude that they had felt as a choice of attitude, acknowledging the gift the Guru had given them. This is why the Guru Shishya relationship is based on love, trust, understanding, and mutual coexistent symbiotic growth. Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu. Together. Not the Guru's up there, the student is down at the bottom. This is a false narrative created by these modern yogi idiots. Don't believe them. The head is in the wrong place. I don't want to be vulgar, but the head's really in the wrong place. Our Vedic culture, right from the times of the Rig Veda, the most oldest literature in human history, Rig Veda. Right from the Rig Veda, there is the concept of the debt we owe to the universe. When we are born as a human being, we come owing the universe. That's why Swamiji said, the universe doesn't owe you anything, you owe the universe everything for your life. The Rig Veda, this concept is then again found in many other places. The Taittiriya Samhita. It is also found in the Manusmriti, it is found in the Mahabharata, and later on, in a very, very beautiful scripture, Shatpat Brahmana, which is a commentary on the Shukla Yajur Veda. The Yajur Veda, now this is a different Veda, that was Rig Veda. The Yajur Veda, which has lot of information on how to do things. It is the methodological aspect of the Vedas. There is the Shukla and Krishna. The Shukla is the clear. They call it the white, it's the clear one. The bright, clear one. Shukla Yajur Veda, sage Yajnavalkya has given a commentary on it, saying there are 100 ways that all this has to be developed and grown. Shata means 100. Path means path. 100 paths through which the Brahmana has to move to do all of these things and learn and grow as a human being. Now all of these talk about a minimum of three debts we owe. And these are called the Rina. Sometimes you find it written as R-I-N-A. It could be written as R-U-N-A or just as R-N-A, Rina. Rina means a debt we owe. And it is said there are Rina Traya, 3 Rina, 3 debts we owe. We have to know that we owe it, right? Then only you can try to repay it. In the Kamli Swami Stuti, a very beautiful phrase comes where the disciple is asking Kamli Swami as he makes this Stuti, a phrase, a verse and phrase. He says, Sadananda Vamudana Keliyane Yenna Kaimaru Puriven. You have given me this bliss that is eternal. Sada Ananda Amudana Keliyane. You have given me this immortal bliss or the bliss of immortality. Yenna Kaimaru Puriven. How can I ever repay it? There's that sense of then seva comes in. Gratitude leading to seva, service. To give back to those who have given you. Giving back to those who have given you. What a beautiful concept. So the Rina concept, Traya, Rina Traya. It is said there are 3 major Rina. One is called Deva Rina. The debt we owe the divine, the gods. Deva Rina. The second is called Rishi Rina. This is to the rishis. Those amazing, timeless scientists who have given us this amazing perspective of life. And the third is called Pitra Rina. Pitra is our ancestors. So the Vedic concept, right from the Rig Veda, then coming into the Shukla Yajur Veda and its commentary, Shatapatha Brahmana, the Mahabharata, the Manusmriti, Taittiriya Samhita, all these places you find this concept that there are 3 major debts we owe when we are born human. We need to acknowledge it and try to repay it. So the Deva Rina, what is it that we owe the divine? How can we repay it? We have been given life, we have been given opportunities. The whole world is being graced by the divine. How do you give back? Well, the concept of yajna comes in here. Yajna, now people say, oh, it's a fire sacrifice, and then they think they're sacrificing something. The other day someone thought we were doing a horse sacrifice. No. You don't sacrifice, it's not killing. What it means is to give back and to offer your effort. Yajna is an offering of purification. It's a sublimatory process, a process of sublimation by effort. And you offer your effort into the fire as a offering, ahuti, so that there will be the purity. Yajna as a means of purifying oneself, and you have concept of yajna as the knowledge. Jnana yajna also. So yajna is one of the core aspects where we start to give our efforts back to the divine. Deva Rina, you start to try to express it. How do you express gratitude? By action. So what is the action? Yajna. So yajna can be at the level of the manasika, vachika, kayika. People, you can do a whole yajna in your head. You can do the yajna through your expression and the yajna through your action. The second one, Rishi Rina. Now, for the rishis, They don't want your money, okay? They don't want your money. They don't want you to put the photo on Facebook. They don't want you to go around saying our rishis are great. That's not what they want. What do they want? How can you repay the rishis? Swadhyaya and tapas. It's very interesting. Two of them are there. 2 out of 3 of Kriya Yoga. Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara, Pranidhana. We keep on thinking, I'm doing Kriya Yoga. Yes. Your performance of Kriya Yoga is a means to give back to the rishis. Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara, Pranidhana. Ishvara, Pranidhana, put it into the Devarina. Tapa and Swadhyaya. What is Tapa? Discipline, self-effort. What is Swadhyaya? Introspectional self-analysis, self-reflection. Because the more self-reflection is there, the more you will grow. The more discipline you have, the more your effort will be streamlined in the right direction, and that will make the rishi ancestors so happy. Nothing can make a rishi happier than when you grow as an individual, manifesting your divinity in its absolute potentiality. We are born potentially divine. When we all attain Kaivalya, the rishis are so happy. Maharishi Patanjali will be the most happiest person if everybody attains Kaivalya. Not if you sell his book. Patanjali was not worried about copyright for his Yoga Sutra. He is not worried whether you put his photo and statue. He wants you to evolve. He wants you to be a yoga sadhaka, do your sadhana and grow. Lord Krishna wants Arjuna, Tasmad Yogi Baba Arjunaha, become a yogi. Don't just say, oh Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. No, become a yogi. That's what Krishna wants. Become a yogi, attain Kaivalya. That is what Patanjali wants. You transform yourself into your divine potential. That's what our rishis want. That is what the rishis want. And when you start to work on yourself, Tapa and Swadhyaya, you are fulfilling the Rina, the debt you owe the rishis. Amma used to say, the rishis are our ancestors. The Siddhas are my family. What a beautiful sense. You want to give back to them. You're not giving back material things. You are giving back by your own self-effort. Self-effort is the currency of spirituality. This is how you have to grow, self-effort. So Tapa and Swadhyaya to try to repay our rishis. It's very difficult because infinite blessings we have been given. What an amazing culture Bharatiya Sanskriti is. What a gift the rishis have given us. What a gift that divine has given us, the gods have given us. The yajna, which is the method of purification. It is not just sitting around having a fire and throwing rice into it. People think that's all it is. That's only the external part. The internal part is the fire of purification occurring into you. Inside you, the fire of purification, where you offer all your negativities, all the lower part of you, so that the higher part of you can grow. The sublimation of the lower into the higher is the inner transformative yajna that we must perform as our expression of gratitude towards the divine. The third, Pitru Rina. Now people like to say, well, in order to satisfy your ancestors, you get married and have a child, preferably a boy. Because this is again a warped perspective. What do your ancestors actually want you to do? They want you to live as a good human being. They want you to live as a good human being. Fulfill the 4 aspects of life. What are the 4 aspects of life? Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. The Chatur Ashrama they want you to fulfill. If you fulfill your Brahmacharya Ashrama, Grahastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha Ashrama and Sannyasa Ashrama, fulfilling your Dharma, your ancestors will be liberated. It is said, the ancestors of Bhagirath, Bhagirath's ancestors, they performed Ashwamedha Yajna, and in the way they did something wrong and so they got cursed and burnt to ashes. One of the rishis, these rishis had a bad temper. That is why whenever people say, oh, yogis should be calm and sweet and loving, you people have never met the rishis. The rishis were, amazing energies. That is why my father was a true rishi. I grew up as a rishi putra. My mother was a rishi patni. I am a rishi putra. Not a yogi, rishi putra for sure. What an amazing Vishwamitra incarnate my father was. You had to be very careful. You did something wrong, you got blasted to pieces. The ego was blasted to pieces. Egodectomy without anesthesia is how he used to define it. These rishis, they burnt. The rishi burnt up all the ancestors of Bhagirath. So Bhagirath does penance. What is penance? Tapa, Swadhyaya, all of that comes in. He propitiates and he is told, you have to bring down Ma Ganga to earth. If Ma Ganga comes down to earth and she flows over the ashes of your ancestors, they will be redeemed. Redemption for the ancestors by the effort of the succeeding generation. That is what your ancestors want. They want to be redeemed by you being a good human being, fulfilling your dharma, not just getting married and having a kid. Don't let people take you into this very small-minded, fussy stuff. Oh, you have to get married, have a kid, and now all your pitru are happy. And once in a while you do a shraddham and you offer them the pinda and they are all happy. Please. If you do not live as a good human being, your ancestors will never be redeemed. We today are the living progeny of the genetic structure of all our ancestors. All my ancestors' DNA is in me. That is why people do DNA tracing to go back and know where the ancestors were. And just so that they can put a Facebook message on it. No. Your ancestors are alive in you. What you do will influence them, give them redemption. You help redeem them, you help satisfy them by how you live. How I live will impact my father and mother. How I live will impact my grandparents. How I live will impact my ancestors. That is the most important aspect. And that is why Bhagirath, he wants to bring Ma Ganga down. But if she comes to earth, whole earth will be destroyed. That is the force of Ma Ganga. So Lord Shiva with his jada, he has to catch Ma Ganga and let her flow onto the earth. Bhagirathantavatal Undanai Alaitan Isanum Jada Mudiyil Tangi Ulag Kalitan He Gange Ma Unpadam Panindin. Bhagiratha, through his tapas, he brings you down, and Isha, Lord Shiva with his deadlocks, catches you and flows you gently down onto this earth, Prithvi, Bhumi. We have a chance. And yes, Acharya ji, inherited epigenetics. How you express today will influence the pattern that has been set by your ancestors. This is why it is not just about creating the future, but also influencing the past by how we behave in the present moment. So we are fulfilling 3 debts: to the divine, to the rishis, and to our ancestors, the Pitru. Now later on you find 2 more debts added to this. What are those 2? One is said to be Manushya Rina. Manushya Rina, also called Nari or Nr Rina. You find it as Nr Rina or Nari Rina or Manushya Rina, is the debt we owe humanity. What a beautiful concept, that we owe humanity a debt, and that is why by being the best possible version of ourselves, we are serving to fulfill our debt to humanity itself. This is the attitude with which I think I offer whatever I offer during this pandemic. Is that, can we give back to humanity? Can we serve humanity and repay our debt to humanity and elevate humanity? I believe humanity version 2.0 or 2K21 should be the best version of humanity. That is what we should strive. That is where we try to repay our debt Because we realize with gratitude that we have been given something by humanity. The whole history of humanity, we stand on those most amazing personalities of humanity today. Can we repay our debt to them by giving back to society, by giving back to humanity, by helping to elevate the consciousness of humanity? Then we are fulfilling our Manushya Rina. And then there's one more which I really love, called Bhuta Rina. All the Bhutas, all the beings, every being in this cosmos. That is why we say Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Not just human beings. May all beings, all that which is part and parcel of this universe, well, it is contributing to us. Even your microbe, the human microbiome, all those microbes in your gut are contributing to you. All the microbes on your skin are contributing to you. The wind, all the elements are contributing to you. All the creatures who exist, they are part and parcel of creating who you are today, manifesting who you are today, holding you together. So we owe something. And this is why, to be able to realize that all life is divine, all life is divine, all life is sacred, and we start to respect all forms of life. We start to respect every aspect of the universe, even if it's a mosquito. That's a tough one. Respecting mosquitoes. You know what my father used to say? Hey, mosquitoes bite you when your blood is toxic. And often he said that the mosquito biting is like a release of the toxicity that is in you. Can you think of it that way? That the bite that an animal or creature, an insect is giving you may be a release of a toxicity in you. What a beautiful concept. To have gratitude. You know, this is the gratitude that was brought out by Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas. Now, you know what happens is so many people in yoga, again these yoga idiot scholars, sorry, but they really get my goat. They forget that Mahabharata and Ramayana are yogic scriptures. They say, no, yoga is not mentioned in the Ramayana. The whole core of dharma is there in the Ramayana. They forget this. But anyway, you know, in the Mahabharata, towards the end, after the battle and, you know, the Pandavas have become the kings, they put on the next generation, Parikshit, and they start walking off to the Himalayas, the last days of their journey. And in that section, one by one, Draupadi dies, you know, each one dies. Finally, Yudhishthira is left alone. Now, along the way, a dog, starts to accompany them on this journey. It just decides it's part of the family. And, you know, dogs just adopt you. And currently, we have a few dogs who keep on coming into the ashram because they believe they live here. And I'm having a tough time telling them they don't live here. They just came through the fence, the hole in the fence. But anyway, it's a tough one. They just adopt you. You know, the dog starts to accompany them, and all these Pandavas and Draupadi, they die on the way. They fall off the mountain. That's how it's depicted. Now at the top, Yudhishthira is alone with the dog. And Indra comes down in his heavenly chariot. And he says, Yudhishthira, Dharma, you are now welcome to come to heaven. And not everybody has an opportunity to get to heaven in the physical body. This is to be noted here. You die, you can go to heaven, that's a different story. In the physical body, Yudhishthira is being invited. And Yudhishthira says, thank you so much. But he says, I need to bring along my dog. So the dog first adopted the Pandavas. Now Yudhishthira says, my dog. This is the typical Indian stray dog that you find. It's not one of the breed dogs that everybody loves these days. What beautiful concept is there. And Indra says, well, this dog really doesn't have a place in heaven. You know, there's always the debate, are dogs allowed in heaven? Well, Yudhishthira's answer is, it's not heaven if my dog is not with me. So whenever you want to quote somebody, you can quote Yudhishthira. He says, if the dog's not coming, I'm not coming. Now, see, this dog has not been his dog for his whole life. This is not a dog who saved his life in the, battle. This is just a dog that became part of the family as they were making this final ascent. Yet, Yudhishthira has that respect, love, and bonding with that dog that he says, if the dog cannot come with me, I will sacrifice and renounce even heaven if I cannot take my canine friend alone, who has given me company despite the rest of my brothers and our wife falling away. And this is the final test for Yudhishthira. And then he turns around, and the dog is not a dog, it's your Yamaraja, Dharmaraja himself, his celestial father, Yama, who is the keeper of Dharma. He's called Dharmaraja. The god of death is the keeper of Dharma. Very, very interesting connections in Indian scriptures. And this was the final test for Yudhishthira to see whether he could have that gratitude and stand up for that. What a beautiful lesson. Now, why did they not select a peacock? Why did they not select a lion? Why was it not a snow bear? Why was it not a monkey? Why did it have to be a dog? Because we all know the greatest quality of our canine friends is gratitude. And we always say that the animal with the maximum capacity to express gratitude is the dog. And that is why that comes into that story. It is not some other animal. It has to be the dog, because that expression of gratitude, our canine friends teach us what gratitude is. Our canine friends teach us what gratitude is. And that is why the worst abuse we have in Tamil is to say that someone is a ungrateful dog. A dog that has lost the capacity to be grateful. That is sort of the worst abuse you can give somebody. Nandri ketta nai, we say. That is actually the level, because you have gone into something that doesn't even exist. Because gratitude is part of their nature. They love you unconditionally. Love, gratitude. And this is why recently Manjari has written that Doctrine of Peace. And I tell you, it's a beautiful book. We released it last week and so happy to be part of it. Because so true that, we learn this lesson of what it is to feel infinite gratitude, infinite love, and to express it. The dog doesn't sit there and say, I'm grateful to you. It comes and licks you. You're feeling down, it comes and it, starts to wag its tail and says, come on, get into a better mood. Let's go out and play and you will be better because you'll have endorphin and enkephalin. Because you know what? When you develop the attitude of gratitude and you start to contemplate it mentally through your expression, verbal, and through your action, you start to actually find that parts of your brain associated with feeling good start to work better. The neuropeptides, the chemicals in your brain that are part of the happiness hormones and chemicals, they start to get secreted. Gratitude induces joy. Gratitude induces. What beautiful feelings come, the high that can come by gratitude. Because when you feel gratitude, even scientific research today is documenting it. They are documenting that when you feel gratitude, all these feel-good hormones are secreted in your brain. All the bonding hormones are secreted. All those hormones that are of higher consciousness are secreted. So not only by feeling gratitude are you helping others. Not only are you feeling good, you are influencing your own neuropsychiatric, psychological pathways. Somatopsychic and psychosomatic influences are there. Gratitude is the highest attitude. It is a cultivated consciousness, KRITAJNATA. And to cultivate that consciousness, one needs to be aware of what we have been given. One has to have that capacity to realize we have been given something of value. When we value something, we start to feel gratitude. And when we feel gratitude, we start to express it through thought, word, and action. And by expressing our gratitude, we start to grow as a human being. We grow from being a subhuman to a human, a humane, and then finally a divine being. I hope that each and every one of us can grow in this way. We are truly blessed to be human. We are blessed to have these capacities to even contemplate these concepts. May we chew the cud, may we contemplate them, may we put them into action, and may we all grow together, grow and glow with the magnificent blessings of our Mother Yoga herself. Thank you so much for being with me today. My gratitude to each and every one of you for being a conduit of the divinity that enables me to share and express the love and the care I have in my heart. You enable me to share. Thank you for being you. Dhanyavadaha, grazie, danke, ayubovan, ayushman bhavat. May we all be blessed. Namaste. Nandri, vanakkam.